Miss Carrie back again for another First Chapter Friday. We here at the library are starting to really gear up for summer reading because, next month and everything. And we're really excited about a lot of the programs we're going to be doing. There's one program that I am super excited. It's going to be open actually to middle grade on up through adult. It's called Summer Scares. For each age group, middle grade, young adult, and adult, there's going to be 3 books that have been selected. We'll have book discussions about them. There'll be crafts and activities. There'll be some guest speakers. It's going to be really amazing, all on the subject of horror. I'll go ahead and sneak peek you the young adult books that we've selected. The first one we're going to be doing is Undead Girl Gang, which is probably the most lighthearted book out of the 3. It's got, I don't know how to tell you this without spoiling the whole thing. Let's say that some of the A girls in the school meet with tragic ends and then are brought back. And they want to figure out exactly what happened to them, and it's all a giant mess on the part of the person who brought them back. It's really funny at parts. It's kind of scary at others. It's horror. The second book actually was the one that I found the most scary of all of them, personally. And it's called The Diviners by Libba Bray. And it's historical fiction horror. And there's spirits and things that are haunting, and there's one girl who's kind of wrapped up in the middle of it. She can sort of sense things. She can, if she touches something of someone's, she can draw upon what that person is feeling, what they've gone through in the past. And there are some really, really, really scary spots all circled around this Museum of the Occult in New York. It's very kind of creepy, good. The last book is called The Marrow Thieves. It's by Cherie Dimaline. And it's, in my opinion, it's different from the others. It's no less good. It's a very good book. It's written by an Indigenous person about Indigenous people in Canada. And it's almost dystopian on top of the horror. Basically, there's sort of a worldwide crisis, and suddenly people are unable to dream anymore, except for the first people in Canada. And those who can't dream come up with theories and ways that they think they can take that ability from those who still have it. And it's scary, people being hunted down and having to hide and escape. It's very, very good. I'm not going to read from any of those today, but I am going to whet your appetite with another scary story. This is called Wilder Girls by Rory Power, and I've read this a few times. I really, really like it, but goosebumps. Maybe it's too soon. I read it before the whole pandemic thing, but I've read it after, and it's still okay, because it's not quite pandemic-y, but let's say there is an illness, a wide illness sweeping around, and these girls who have been touched by it, who've been infected, are put into quarantine on this island, and there's secrets and mysteries, and the illness has bizarre effects on those who are touched by it, and it's animals and plants, not just people. So I'll read you the first chapter of Wilder Girls. You'll see what you think. Hetty. Something way out in the white dark, between the trees, moving where the thickets swarm. You can see it from the roof, the way the brush bends around it as it rustles to the ocean. That size, it must be a coyote, one of the big ones hitting shoulder high, teeth that fit like knives in the palm of my hand. I know because I found one once, the end of it just poking through the fence. Took it back and hid it under my bed. One more crash through the brush, and then the stillness again. Across the roof deck, Byatt lowers her gun, rests it on the railing. Road clear. I keep mine up just in case, keep the sight raised to my left eye. My other eye's dead, gone dark in a flare-up, lid fused shut, something growing underneath. It's like that with all of us here. Sick, strange, and we don't know why. Things bursting out of us, bits missing, pieces sloughing off. And then we harden and smooth over. Through the sight, noon sun bleaching the world, I can see the woods stretching out to the island's edge, the ocean beyond. Pines bristling thick, like always, rising high above the house. Here and there, gaps where the oak and birch have shed their leaves, but most of the canopy is woven tight, needles stiff with frost. Only the radio antenna breaking through, useless now the signal's out. Up the road, someone yells, and out of the trees, there's boat shift coming home. It's only a few who can make the trip, all the way across the island to where the Navy delivers rations and clothes at the pier that the ferries used to come and go from. The rest of us stay behind the fence, pray they make it home safe. The tallest, Ms. Welch, stops at the gate and fumbles with the lock until at last the gate swings open and boat shift comes stumbling in, cheeks red from the cold. All three of them back, and all three of them bent under the weight of cans and the meats and the sugar cubes. Welch turns to shut the gate behind her. Barely 5 years past the old of us, she's the youngest of the teachers. Before this, she lived on our hall and looked the other way when somebody missed curfew. Now she counts us every morning to make sure nobody's died in the night. She waves to give the all clear, and Byatt waves back. I'm gate, Byatt's road. Sometimes we switch, but my eye doesn't do well looking far, so it never lasts. Either way, I'm still a better shot than half the girls who could take my place. The last boat girl steps onto the porch and out of sight, and that's the end of our shift. Unload the rifles, stick the casings in the box for the next girl, slip one in your pocket, just in case. The roof slopes gently away from the flat-top deck, third floor to the second. From there, we swing over the edge and through the open window into the house. It was harder in the skirts and socks we used to wear, something in us still telling us to keep our knees closed. That was a long time ago. Now, in our ragged jeans, there's nothing to mind. Byatt climbs in behind me, leaving another set of scuff marks on the window ledge. She pushes her hair over one shoulder. Straight, like mine, and a bright living brown, and clean. Even when there's no bread, there's always shampoo. What did you see? She asks me. I shrug. Nothing. Breakfast wasn't much, and I'm feeling the shake of hunger in my limbs. I know Byatt is too, so we're quick as we head downstairs for lunch, to the main floor, to the hall with its big high ceilings, scarred tilting tables, a fireplace, and tall-backed couches, stuffing ripped out to burn for warmth. And us, full of us, humming and alive. There were 100 girls when it started, and 20 teachers. Altogether, we filled both wings off the old house. These days, we only need one. The boat girls come banging through the front doors, letting their bags drop, and there's a scramble for the food. They send us cans, mostly, and sometimes packs of dried jerky, barely ever anything fresh. Never enough for everyone. And on an average day, meals are just Welch in the kitchen, unlocking the storage closet and parceling out the smallest rations you ever saw. But today's a delivery day. New supplies come home on the backs of the boat shift girls, and that means Welch and Headmistress keep their hands clean and let us fight for one thing each. Byatt and me, though, we don't have to fight. Reese is right by the door, and she drops a bag off to the side for us. If it were somebody else, people would mind, but it's Reese, left hand with its scaly, sharp fingers, so everyone keeps quiet. She was one of the last to get sick. I thought maybe it had missed her, maybe she was safe. And then they started. The scales, each a shifting sort of silver, unfolding out of her skin like they were coming from inside. The same thing happened to one of the other girls in our year. They spread across her whole body and turned her blood cold until she couldn't wake up. So we thought it was the end for Reese, and they took her upstairs, waited for it to kill her. But it didn't. One day she's holed up in the infirmary, and the next she's back again, her left hand a wild thing, but still hers. Reese rips open the bag, and she lets me and Byatt root through it. My stomach's clenching, spit thicker on my tongue. Anything, I'd take anything. But we've got a bad one. Soap, matches, a box of pens, a carton of bullets, and then, at the bottom, an orange. A real live orange, rot only starting to nip at the peel. We snatch. Reese's silver hand on my collar, heat roiling under the scales, but I throw her to the floor, shove my knee against the side of her face, bear down, trap Byatt's neck between my shoulder and my forearm. One of them kicks, I don't know who, clocks me in the back of the head, and I'm careening onto the stairs, nose against the edge with a crack, pain fizzing white. Around us, the other girls yelling, hemming in. Someone has my hair in her fist, tugging up, out. I twist. I bite where the tendons push against her skin, and she whines. My grip loosens. So does hers, and we scrabble away from each other. I shake the blood out of my eye. Reese is sprawled halfway up the staircase, the orange in her hand. She wins. That's chapter 1 of The Wilder Girls. Check it out and read it. Be sure to check out Summer Scares come June.